Hey everybody, and welcome back to Weather for Weather Geeks here on this Tuesday evening. It is the 13th of October, and today turned out to be a beautiful day as expected, but also as expected, we had some showers around, even some thunderstorms in the wee hours of this morning. You may have been woken up to the sound of thunder and some raindrops on your windows. Taking a look at actual rain gauge numbers across the area. Now in southeastern Columbiana County, Calcutta, Glenmore, East Liverpool, etc., not much, under a quarter of an inch, but amounts ramped up as you got off to the north, about a half an inch from Lisbon to Latonia to Canfield to Austintown, up towards downtown Youngstown, even into the southern part of Trumbull County. And actually at the airport, that was one of the hot spots. I think it was 0.93, the official number, at the Youngstown Warren Airport from the rain that we had very early on. And despite the clouds first thing in the morning, boy, it turned out to be a great day. And look at the beautiful fall colors on the trees here in Boardman. We're approaching our peak foliage as we speak. I'm expecting in the next handful of days to really be our true peak. All right, last week we talked some about Mars. Let's talk a little bit more about it. Last week, Mars and Earth were at their closest point to one another. And actually, the closest we're going to be to Mars for about 15 years. But tonight's actually the night in which Mars is exactly at what we call opposition. In other words, Earth is directly between Mars and the sun. It's the same idea as when we have a full moon. It means the Earth is between the moon and the sun. And so the face of Mars will be especially bright at its absolute brightest tonight, yes, but you can check out Mars on any clear night this month and really be able to see it with your naked eye. And of course, getting out a telescope, you'll be able to see some great detail on the planet Mars. 38.6 million miles away. Again, we won't be this close to Mars until 2035. We'll have another clear night tomorrow night to check it out. All right, not much going on nationwide this evening. Big storm up in the Pacific Northwest. That's actually the beginnings of the system that will move across the country and produce a big cool down for us at the end of the week. But otherwise, not a lot of barn burners on the national radar this evening. Chilly start to our day, mid-40s on Wednesday, but the afternoon is going to be fantastic. Some high cirrus clouds will filter in for the afternoon, no big deal. And then, here comes the change. Thursday, a cold front approaches from the north and west. Now, we're still going to be mild in the morning. In fact, much warmer Thursday morning as compared to Wednesday morning. And we'll make our way up into the 60s in the afternoon. But clouds will increase. Shower chances will increase by the second half of the afternoon Thursday. And once it starts raining in your location, right along that front, temperatures will drop. It's going to be a pretty big change. And then our November preview begins as we go into the day Friday. So yeah, well up into the 60s at 2 o'clock in the afternoon Thursday, but by 5 or 6, we're falling down through the 50s. Even some 40s might be showing up towards Bloomfield, Mesopotamia. And everyone's into the 40s and eventually no higher than the lower 50s for daytime highs on Friday. One of the coldest nights of the season so far, most likely Friday night into Saturday morning. Some of these numbers might even be a few degrees too warm. I'm not going to be shocked to see a 32, 33, 34 showing up on some thermometers as Saturday gets underway. There could be some frost, of course, with those kinds of temperatures. We're overdue now for our first frost of the season if you haven't had one in your location just yet. All right, we still have some model wars next week with regards to the overall pattern. European model keeps the ridge hugging the East Coast, therefore deflecting most of the cold back up into the upper Midwest and the Northern Rockies up here under this trough. This is a mild-looking weather map on the European for the middle of next week. GFS still insisting that the cold makes more eastward progress, and you'll notice the ridge is way out over the Atlantic. Now, the GFS is starting to slowly but surely kind of hedge a little more towards the European idea, but it's still quite a bit colder. I think the European is going to win this battle eventually, or at the very least, the answer will be somewhere in the middle. But I don't think next week is as cold-looking as this map is on the GFS. Maybe it's not quite as warm-looking as the European, but I'm not anticipating any sort of prolonged November preview. In fact, the Climate Prediction Center agrees with that assessment, keeping the highest odds of cold definitely locked up to our north and west in the 6 to 10 day period, with the eastern seaboard favored for above average warmth. And for us, we might be on the edge of that area, but still, it does look like the worst of the cold is certainly going to be a miss for us next week. That being said, because we're kind of on the fringes of both the colder air mass and the warmer air mass, that's a pretty active storm track in between usually, probably a handful of chances for precipitation. as we go through next week. Thank you for watching the Tuesday evening edition of Weather for Weather Geeks. I'll see you back here on Wednesday. Enjoy a clear and seasonably chilly night tonight.